All right, so data replication, super important topic.
Absolutely.
Anyone who wants to keep their data safe,
Yeah.
it's kind of like having insurance,
Yeah.
your digital world.
Yep.
Making sure that your data is safe and accessible,
Right.
even if something bad happens.
Yeah.
And in this deep dive,
Right.
we are going to explore 4 key methods
Yeah.
used to achieve data replication.
Uh-huh.
And I am joined by our data replication expert
Oh,
to help us unpack it all.
happy to be here.
So
Yeah.
what's really interesting about data replication
Mm-hmm.
is that it's not just
Right.
like a simple backup.
It's
You know,
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're
go.
creating. It's like a real-time mirror image
Yeah.
of your data,
I mean,
constantly updated
Okay, so
and ready to take over if your primary system experiences any issues.
let's break this down.
Okay.
First on our list is array-based replication.
Okay.
Could you give us a rundown of how this works?
Sure. This method operates at the hardware level within your storage arrays.
Okay.
It's like having a synchronized dance between 2 storage units,
Okay.
constantly mirroring data blocks
Okay.
to maintain absolute consistency.
Got it.
What's really impressive is the technology behind it. We're talking RAID configurations
Yeah.
and synchronous mirroring,
Uh-huh.
all working together to ensure that your data is copied
Right.
accurately and efficiently
Okay.
with minimal impact on bandwidth.
So if everything is so closely linked,
Mhm.
wouldn't that make it harder to switch vendors down the line?
That's a great point. Vendor lock-in can be a real concern with array-based replication.
Right.
You're often tied to specific hardware and software,
Uh-huh.
which might limit your flexibility in the future.
Right.
And of course, there's
Right.
the cost factor.
Sure.
Array-based solutions can require significant upfront investment,
Okay.
which might not be feasible for everyone,
Right.
especially smaller organizations.
So it's a trade-off between
Yes.
robust protection
Right.
and flexibility.
Correct.
Okay, so what kind of organization would benefit most from array-based replication?
Think about organizations where data consistency is absolutely paramount.
Okay.
For example, financial institutions
What?
handling sensitive customer transactions,
Yeah.
or healthcare providers managing critical patient records.
Makes sense.
In these situations,
Uh-huh.
even a tiny discrepancy in data would
Damn.
have serious consequences.
Oh, yeah?
So the investment in array-based replication is often justified.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on, we have host-based replication,
Okay.
which sounds like it offers more control.
Absolutely. Host-based replication shifts the focus to the software level,
Okay.
giving you granular control over exactly what gets replicated.
Right.
Instead of mirroring entire data blocks, you can choose specific files, folders, or even applications to be copied. It's like packing a carefully curated emergency kit
Yeah.
for your digital world.
So if array-based is like a full system backup, host-based is more like
It is.
picking and choosing your valuable assets for safekeeping.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay. But wouldn't that be
Yeah.
pretty demanding
Yeah.
on your system's resources?
That's a valid concern
Wow.
because host-based replication relies on software
Yeah.
running on your host computer.
No.
It can be resource intensive,
Right.
potentially slowing down your system,
Sure.
especially if you're already dealing with a heavy workload.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to continue the analogy,
Right.
it's not just about packing the right items.
Right.
You also need to know how to use them.
Sure.
Host-based replication can be more complex
Sure.
to set up and manage
Right.
compared to array-based systems.
Well.
You might need specific expertise
Uh-huh.
or rely on specialized software
Right.
like earthsync or Veeam
Got it.
to make it work effectively.
So more control and flexibility,
Right.
but potentially at the cost of
Yeah.
performance and ease of use.
Uh-huh.
What about our third method?
That would be hypervisor-based replication,
Okay.
which leverages the power of virtualization.
Okay.
Instead of replicating individual files or data blocks,
Yep.
we're now talking about replicating entire virtual machines.
Wow. Okay.
It's like having a digital transporter beam
Okay.
capable of moving your entire digital workspace
Got it.
to a secure location.
So I could essentially move
You could.
my entire digital environment to a different data center?
Yes,
Or even the cloud with this method?
exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And the beauty of it is
Yeah.
that it often integrates seamlessly
Okay.
with your existing virtualization infrastructure.
Uh-huh.
You're essentially leveraging resources you already have,
Right.
which makes it a very cost-effective solution,
Got it.
especially compared to some of the other methods we've discussed.
So it's efficient and cost effective. But are there any downsides to consider?
Well, one potential drawback is that it can be less granular
Okay.
than host-based replication.
Right.
You're replicating entire virtual machines,
Yeah.
which might mean copying more data than you absolutely need.
Right.
It's a bit like moving your whole house
Okay.
when you really only need to safeguard
Yeah.
a few important documents.
I got it.
And while hypervisor-based replication is generally well optimized, there can be some performance impact
Okay.
on your virtualized environment,
Right.
especially during the initial replication process.
So it's like packing up your whole house for a move.
Right.
It's safe
Yes.
and easy,
Uh-huh.
but maybe not the most streamlined approach.
Right.
If you're only worried about a few specific things.
That's right.
Okay, so let's move on to our last data replication method.
Okay.
Network-based replication.
Right.
What sets this one apart?
Network-based replication takes a different approach.
Okay.
It operates at the network level,
Got it.
replicating data between different locations
Mm-hmm.
in real time
Right.
or near real time.
Okay.
Think of it as a constant stream of data
Yeah.
flowing between 2 points,
Uh-huh.
ensuring that they are always in sync.
Okay.
This method is particularly well suited
Right.
for disaster recovery scenarios.
Can you give us an example of
Yeah.
how that might work in practice?
Imagine a company with its databases mirrored
Okay.
across multiple geographic locations
Uh-huh.
using network-based replication.
Got it.
If one site experiences an outage or a disaster,
Right.
the other site can seamlessly take over
Right.
with minimal disruption.
That's a pretty big benefit.
It is?
Okay. But managing data flow
Yeah,
across an entire network sounds incredibly complex.
it can be.
Are there any specific challenges
Yeah.
associated with network-based replication?
You're right, it can be complex.
Right.
Setting up and managing network-based replication requires a deep understanding of network infrastructure
Right.
and specialized tools.
Right.
It's like orchestrating a complex data ballet,
Okay.
ensuring that everything moves in sync,
Yeah.
and that any hiccups in the network
Right.
don't disrupt the flow of information.
So it's like a high-performance system
Uh-huh.
with potentially
It is.
high maintenance requirements.
Yes.
This has been great information.
Well, thank you.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
And it's clear that each data replication method
Yeah.
has its own unique strengths and weaknesses.
I do.
It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Not at all.
Before we dive into comparing them head-to-head,
Okay.
I want to remind our listeners that for more information about data replication solutions,
Right.
you can visit our website at www.stonefly.com
Uh-huh.
or reach out to us at sales@stonefly.com.
Yeah.
Now, with 4 distinct methods on the table,
Okay.
how can we help our listeners determine which one might be the best fit for their specific needs?
That's a great question, and it leads us perfectly into our next segment.
Okay.
To make an informed decision,
Right.
you need to consider several key factors.
Mm-hmm.
Things like recovery point objective,
Yeah.
recovery time objective,
Okay.
scalability,
Right.
complexity,
Got it.
and of course, cost.
Makes sense.
Let's break down each of these.
Perfect. So let's unpack those key factors
Okay.
and help our listeners make sense of all this information.
Yeah.
First up, what exactly is a recovery point objective or RPO?
The RPO is essentially how much data you're willing to lose
Oh,
in a worst-case scenario.
right.
It's about defining your tolerance for data loss.
Got it.
A lower RPO means you're aiming for minimal data loss, but this often comes with higher costs and complexity.
So if my business can tolerate losing a day's worth of data,
Yeah.
my RPO would be 24 hours.
Correct.
But if every minute counts,
Yeah.
my RPO would be much lower.
Yeah.
And I'd need a more robust solution. That
Uh-huh.
makes sense.
It does.
And what about recovery time objective or RTO?
The RTO focuses on how quickly you need to recover your systems and data
Okay.
after a disruption.
Right.
It's all about minimizing downtime.
Got it.
Think about it like this.
Okay.
How long can your business afford to be offline?
So if my business relies on real-time transactions,
Right.
my RTO would need to be incredibly low,
Uh-huh.
maybe just a few minutes.
It would.
But if I have a bit more leeway,
Yeah.
my RTO could be a few hours.
Right.
Or even a day.
Correct.
It's really about understanding the
Right.
impact of downtime
Yeah.
on your operations.
Exactly.
What about scalability?
Okay.
How do our 4 methods stack up
Right.
when it comes to handling large amounts of data?
Scalability is an important consideration,
Right.
especially for organizations with growing data needs.
Yeah.
Array-based replication can be limited
Okay.
in terms of scalability,
Okay.
while network-based replication tends to excel
Right.
in handling large volumes of data
Okay.
across multiple systems.
Makes sense.
It's like choosing the right size container for your data.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it can accommodate your current needs and future growth.
So it's like choosing between a suitcase
Yeah.
for a weekend trip
Uh-huh.
or a moving truck for a cross-country move.
Right.
You need to anticipate
You do.
how much you need to carry.
Correct.
But we've talked a lot about complexity.
We have.
Some of these methods sound pretty involved.
They can be.
Right.
Complexity varies quite a bit
Okay.
across the different data replication methods.
Sure.
Array-based replication is often considered simpler
Uh-huh.
to set up and manage,
Right.
especially with the help of purpose-built appliances,
Okay.
like those we offer at Stonefly.
Great.
Host-based and hypervisor-based replication offer more flexibility, but
Right.
might require additional expertise.
Okay.
And network-based replication, while powerful, can be quite complex,
Mhm.
demanding specialized skills
Sure.
and careful planning.
So choosing the right method involves balancing
It does.
the level of protection
Yes.
with the resources and expertise you have available.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of resources,
Right.
we can't forget about cost.
Of course not.
This is a big factor for any organization,
It is.
especially smaller businesses with limited budgets.
Absolutely. Cost is always a key consideration.
Right.
Array-based solutions often involve a higher upfront investment
Okay.
due to the specialized hardware involved.
Yeah.
Host-based and hypervisor-based replication can be more budget-friendly,
Right.
especially if you're already leveraging existing infrastructure.
Makes sense.
Network-based replication costs can vary widely, depending on the complexity of your network
Mm-hmm.
and the specific tools you choose.
It's a lot to weigh.
It is.
There are so many factors to consider.
There are.
And it's clear there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Ah,
But that's where expert guidance comes in.
that's right.
For listeners who are feeling overwhelmed,
Yeah,
our team at Stonefly can help you navigate these choices
absolutely.
and find the perfect data replication solution to fit your unique needs and budget.
Right.
You can find more information on our website at www.stonefly.com
Yeah.
or by emailing us at sales@stonefly.com.
Okay.
We're always here to help.
Great.
Now, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and think about the bigger picture.
Right.
You've highlighted the importance of RPO,
Yeah.
RTO,
Uh-huh.
scalability, complexity, and cost.
Yeah.
But what are some of the key questions our listeners should be asking themselves
Okay.
as they evaluate these factors?
That's a great point. You need to tailor your decision to your specific circumstances.
Right.
Ask yourself,
Yeah.
what data is absolutely mission critical for your business?
Okay.
What level of risk are you comfortable with? What resources,
Right.
both financial and technical,
Yeah.
do you have available?
Got it.
The answers to these questions will guide you toward the data replication method
Right.
that best aligns with your priorities
Makes sense.
and your overall data protection strategy.
Great.
Yeah. It's important to remember that data replication is just one piece of a comprehensive data protection strategy.
So,
It's like having a spare tire, essential but not the only thing you need
right.
for a safe and reliable journey.
So what else should we be considering alongside data replication?
Right.
What other tools or strategies?
You need to think of it like building layers of protection around your valuable data.
Okay.
Backups are crucial.
Got it.
They act as your safety net, providing a separate copy of your data
Right.
in case of accidental deletion,
Mm-hmm.
corruption, or
Yeah.
even malicious attacks,
Okay.
like ransomware.
So it's like having a backup parachute.
Yeah, you hope you never need it. But it's there to save the day if your primary one fails.
What about protecting our data from those malicious attacks
Yeah.
that you mentioned?
That's where robust security measures come in.
Okay.
Think firewalls, intrusion detection systems,
Uh-huh.
and encryption.
Right.
These act as your digital fortress,
Got it.
protecting your data from unauthorized access and cyber threats.
So we have our spare tire,
Right?
our backup parachute,
Huh?
and now we're building a fortress around our data.
Exactly.
Okay. What else do we need
Hmm.
for a truly comprehensive data protection plan?
A well-defined disaster recovery plan is essential.
Okay.
It's like having a detailed roadmap for bouncing back
Right.
from any unforeseen event that could disrupt your operations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This plan outlines the steps to take if your systems go down, ensuring a swift and organized recovery process.
So it's not just about having the right tools.
Right.
It's about knowing how to use them effectively in a crisis. A disaster recovery plan is like having a fire drill for your data.
That's a great way to put it.
It prepares you for the unexpected, so you can react quickly
Yeah.
and minimize the impact.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking about a multi-layered approach
We are.
to data protection,
Right.
combining replication with backups,
Yes.
security, and a solid disaster recovery plan.
Correct.
It sounds like a lot to manage.
Can be.
Are there any tools or resources
Yeah.
that can help streamline this process?
Absolutely. That's where solutions like our unified data management platforms come in.
Okay.
We've designed our appliances
Yeah.
to simplify data protection by integrating multiple functionalities into a single, easy-to-manage system.
So that can save time,
It can.
reduce complexity,
Yeah.
and help ensure that all your data protection measures
Right.
are working together seamlessly.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It sounds like a great way to centralize and simplify data protection, especially for organizations that might not have
Right.
dedicated IT teams or extensive resources.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
is there any final piece of advice you want to leave our listeners with
Yeah.
when it comes to safeguarding their data?
In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape,
Right.
complacency is the enemy of data protection.
Okay.
Technology changes quickly and new threats emerge constantly.
Right.
So it's not enough to just set up your defenses and forget about them.
Got it.
Regularly reassess your needs,
Yeah.
stay informed about emerging threats,
Yeah.
and be prepared to adapt your strategy accordingly.
So it's an ongoing process,
Yeah.
not a one-time fix.
Exactly.
It's like tending a garden.
Uh-huh.
You need to constantly nurture and protect it
Right.
to ensure its health and vitality.
Precisely. And remember, while technology is crucial,
Yeah.
the human element is just as important.
Okay.
Educate your team about data security best practices.
Right.
Establish clear policies and procedures, and foster a culture of data awareness
Got it.
throughout your organization.
That's excellent advice.
Thank you.
Data protection isn't just an IT issue.
Right.
It's a shared responsibility that involves everyone.
Yes.
It's about creating a culture of awareness and vigilance
Yeah.
to protect one of your most valuable assets.
Uh-huh.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
from exploring the intricacies of 4 different data replication methods
Right.
to emphasizing the importance of a holistic approach to data protection.
Yes.
Before we move on to our final thoughts,
Okay.
I want to remind our listeners that for more information
Uh-huh.
about our unified data management appliances,
Right.
you can visit our website at www.stonefly.com
Yeah?
or by contacting us directly at sales@stonefly.com.
Okay.
Our team is always ready to help you navigate the
Great.
complex world of data protection
Uh-huh.
and find the solution that's right for your organization.
Absolutely.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember as they embark on their own data protection journeys?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me
Yeah.
is that data protection
Uh-huh.
isn't just a technical challenge,
Yeah.
it's a strategic one.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your business,
Okay.
assessing your risks,
Uh-huh.
and finding the right combination of tools and strategies
Right.
to safeguard what's important.
And it's not a
It's not.
set it and forget it solution.
It requires ongoing attention,
Right.
adaptation,
Uh-huh.
and a commitment to continuous improvement.
It's like building a house.
It is.
You need a strong foundation,
Right.
but you also need to maintain it,
Uh-huh.
make upgrades,
Yeah.
adapt to changing conditions.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
And just like you wouldn't cut corners
Right.
when building your home,
Yeah.
you shouldn't compromise when it comes to protecting your data.
Absolutely.
It's an investment worth making.
Well, I think we've provided our listeners
I think so too.
with a solid understanding of data replication
Right?
and its role in a comprehensive data protection strategy.
Uh-huh.
We've explored the 4 main methods,
Yes.
discussed key considerations,
Yeah.
and emphasized the importance of a multi-layered approach.
Absolutely.
If any of our listeners are looking for more guidance
Yeah.
on how to build a robust data protection plan
Right.
for their organization. Our team at Stonefly is here to help.
We are.
You can learn more about our solutions,
Yeah.
including our unified data management appliances,
Okay.
on our website at www.stonefly.com,
Right.
or by contacting us at sales@stonefly.com.
Great.
We're always happy to share our expertise
Absolutely.
and help you find the perfect fit for your needs.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
Data protection is a complex topic,
It is.
and we're passionate about making it easier
Right.
for organizations of all sizes
Yeah.
to safeguard their valuable information.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive
Oh, it was my pleasure.
into the world of data replication.
Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners,
Yes.
thanks for tuning in.
Uh-huh.
Until next time, stay safe
Stay safe.
and keep your data protected.